We're going to go live in 3, 2, 1.
It is indeed an important opportunity to discuss the issues that are of concern to us, because I'm also an AARP eligible person, and to give an update of what's happening in Congress on some of the issues that are most important to us, and that is protecting our Social Security, looking to see where we need to enhance our Social Security at the same time, protecting it, making sure that our health care is there, and making sure that the investments that we made for so many years into our savings accounts and our various investment instruments are in a place that is secure for us as we're moving into our retirement and living out the rest of our lives.
I was wondering what the Congresswoman thinks of single-payer insurance.
We need to ensure that access to health care is affordable. We need to make sure that it is good health care, that there are that there's no dumbing down or cutting of benefits, and that at the same time we're able to ensure that everybody sort of has a level playing field.
I just really want to know, how much influence does AARP actually have on Congress and what's going on as far as Social Security and Medicare is concerned?
AARP has an enormous amount of influence. They listen to us a lot. We have a program this year called Take a Stand. You can find that on the web if you're interested in it. It's a program where we are asking all the presidential candidates to take a stand on what they want to do to preserve and expand Social Security.
I think if you look at some of the proposals that are before Congress, you will find tremendous influence over with the issues that AARP found important to impart upon members of Congress, and their proposals have some of those issues firmly addressed in what they hope to be able to accomplish. Whether or not it's taking care of addressing the issue of caregivers, or the bump in Social Security, or recognizing that Social Security ought not just be tied to the CPI, but it should be something like the CPI plus E, recognizing that there are costs associated with our senior population, and that Social Security is a bottom line. It is a safety net that needs to be moving along with the cost of living.
What kinds of things will you be able to do as a Congresswoman to help ensure that the people here in this community will have the Social Security system in place for us?
I would be supporting legislation like John Larson's legislation out of Connecticut, which recognizes that these are earned benefits and that the majority of these benefits are extremely modest. He is proposing a bump up and a bottom line for those at the lowest wage earners, which is 25% above the poverty line. He is proposing that we provide tax breaks to over 10 million recipients by raising the threshold for taxation for those who are joint individuals and joint filers. He is looking to close loopholes that will ensure that we are not falling in the gap, and that the Social Security is not weakened by any sort of pressure upon it, and keeping it separate as an item in the budget. And I am looking to other programs and other sources of income, such as corporate tax breaks, such as giving bumps to Social Security consistent with the kind of percentage increase that large wage earners get, and for taxing a portion of that when it's over $1 million.
We have been committed from the very beginning to the long-term health of Social Security. And the thing I've learned, I've been president in New Jersey now 4 years, and the thing I have learned is that these battles don't happen and are finished. They're never finished. They keep going. And we continue to battle in this area things like the change in the CPI that we were threatened with a few years ago, which would have cost our members and other seniors a great deal of money. And we fight back against those consistently, and our track record is really excellent.
We've had a great discussion about Social Security. I think we want to turn to the future of Medicare now.
There is unanimous support on behalf of the Democratic caucus to ensure that there are no cuts to Medicare, and that is a fight that we will continue to engage in. People need to hold their legislators accountable and recognize that there's a lot of work that AARP does in the non-traditional Democratic sort of districts. And so those legislators need to also know that we expect them to stand up for Medicare.
How can we save money in Medicare? We know that Medicare, isn't like Social Security in that it's not fully paid for through its own sources. How are we going to be able to provide Medicare in a way that's affordable, and are there ways to save money in Medicare without hurting beneficiaries?
Yeah, well, I think that we need to use our resources to ensure that there is little fraud. We lose a lot of money as a result of fraud in Medicare. We need to make sure that we are smart in the types of technology that we employ that will cut down on costs, and we need to make sure that there are not unnecessary tests and things of that nature, which are sometimes drive up the cost of health care. And we need to make sure that prescriptions are affordable.
Another issue that has become very, very important for AARP members and people in general is that of caregiving and supporting our family caregivers. We've got over 1 million family caregivers in New Jersey who are struggling to help their loved ones day in and day out. What is the Congress doing, Congresswoman, to try to support the good work of family caregivers?
I know what it is to take care of elderly family members and family members who are both elderly and ill. And without having respite care, without having adequate services coming in, without the kind of support that you need from infrastructure, it is very, very, very difficult. I was very fortunate to have a lot of family members, but that isn't the case for everybody. And because we are an aging population, lest anyone think otherwise, we seriously need to look at the sort of a range of services and support, and as well as tax implications that will be helpful to not only the person that is being taken care of, but the people who are caring for them.
And Congresswoman, we really appreciate your time with us today. We're going to move to wrap up now. We appreciate your coming here. We have about 50 AARP members in the room with us and a couple thousand on the phone with us. We want to thank you for joining us today and being so responsive to the questions. Do you have any closing remarks for our members?
The fight never ends, that we just have to keep pressing forward. We can't grow weary. We just need to stay steadfast, because you're not doing it just for yourself. You're doing it for generations that come. These are not entitlements. These are things that we've worked for, we have invested in, we have sacrificed for, and we are entitled to that quality of life issues. And whether or not it's Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid or transportation, whatever that service might be, we've already paid in to that pot, and we need to derive the benefit of the sacrifices that we've made. Thank you, AARP, for fighting that good fight, for advocating for those issues that are not only good for those who are members of AARP, those who are retired now, but we want to make sure that those safety and security systems are in place for our children and for our grandchildren.